So I'm Barry Muller, product marketing here at Demostack. Demostack is your demo operations platform to build, distribute, and scale your demo operation. We help everyone create great demo assets and empower AEs and partners to deliver them in a custom manner. Today we have Sam talking about a very important topic. It's a topic that we talk about often, and that is about keeping your demos fresh. And Sam is the perfect person to give over this presentation because Sam is an SE herself, an SE for the past, I think, 5+ years, maybe even more. She's also have some experience in product. Sam is also what I call a true friend, someone that I really enjoy spending time with, whether it be virtually or in person. And she's really fun. You'll see, if you've never met her, you'll see how fun she is during this webinar. Ask questions in the chat and in the Q&A. Tell us, I see that we have Corbin Anderson from Seattle, John from the Netherlands, glad this is global, Peter from Kansas City, Julian from Colombia, amazing, love the diversity here, keep it coming, let's make this as interactive as possible. Sam wants it to be interactive as possible, so send in your questions as she goes on. So without further ado, let me bring Sam in.
All right, testing. Can you all hear me? Hey everyone, my name's Sam Collin. Thanks for the intro, Barry. You are also a true friend. I'm a solutions engineer here at Demostack. I also manage all of our implementations. One moment while I reinstate my blur, and we're ready to rock. Little about me. I have been a solutions engineer for quite some time. About 5 years. I also have worked in the product space, and by working at Demostack, I get to see hundreds of demos. I get to see how hundreds of people demo, and I also can see what the problems are with demos. So without further ado, let's get started. So a little bit of an agenda before we get started. We're going to start by discussing what I mean by keeping demos fresh, the challenges and the impact of maintaining a demo environment as the product continually updates over time. Then we're going to dive into how organizations solve for these challenges today. Introducing a tool like Demostack can reshape how you manage your demo assets. Finally, we're going to roll into a 2-part demo, first from the demo builder perspective, then from the sales presenter perspective. Like Barry said, I want this to be conversational. I don't want to be just talking to myself the whole time. So please ask questions in the chat, challenge me, explain your ideas or how your organization manages these updates. And don't worry, there will be a recording of this after the call. Everyone signed up will get a recording of this call. So with that, let's get started. Before we talk about demos, though, I want to talk about gardening. You see, maintaining and managing a garden is a lot like managing and maintaining a demo system. Let's think about gardening for a second. In January, you're checking your tools, you're making repairs, you're weeding, and overall, you're just getting ready for the season. It's early spring, the birds are chirping, the flowers are blooming, and you're planting your perennials, your shrubs. You're probably weeding again, while also planning for the future crop schedule, like ordering the bulbs for the summer. In summer, it's really hot outside. You're weeding even more often because it's hot and it's raining. You're removing your spring crops. You're starting to plant your fall crops, and you're preparing your spring seeds for the next season. Now it's fall. It's cooled off. You're probably cutting back or removing some of those spent crops. You're still weeding. Weeding never stops. And you're taking these cuttings for winter, and you're continuing to plan for next year. Now it's winter. Hopefully you're somewhere where it's colder and you're not necessarily gardening in the winter, but the work doesn't stop. You're still preparing for the next season. And guess what? Next season, you're adding 4 more plots to your garden. So I am not a gardener. In fact, I find it too time consuming to garden myself because of all of these steps, because of all this planning. But now let's talk about the demo. Just like that garden is taking constant care, constant feeding, constant planning ahead, and an overall vision to be successful. A demo is just the same. A bit of a spoiler for the rest of the presentation, but here at Demostack, we believe that managing a demo environment and a demo system is easier when you modularize it. Just like that garden, you're managing different areas of your plot during different seasons. In some cases, like weeding, you are performing these actions every season, but others you're doing once in a while. They're on different schedules. So when we say keeping demos fresh, what we mean is keeping the demo environment relevant, in line with those impactful product updates, all while maintaining a distribution and management system to ensure that when we make these updates, they are actually adopted. All right, so we're going to refer to gardens a lot more throughout this presentation because it makes a very good analogy with the constantly changing nature of a product. So let's talk about the challenges and impacts of not keeping the demo fresh. So raise your hand if you have ever been surprised by a product update. Keep your hand raised if a customer was the first one to show you said update. Now, I know I can't see you all, but I can feel you. It's happened to you at least once before. You didn't know an update happened, and your customer says, hey, I love this new feature. Now, my first thought when this happens to me is, wow, customers really like this. How do I get it in the demo? My customer sees it, my prospects don't. It doesn't exist in the demo yet. And so this really goes to show the production environment is always prioritized over the demo environment. It is just a fact, and it is how it should be. But the impact of prioritizing production is the demo is usually late. It's usually late to get the update. And that means that sales is not showing the latest and greatest as early as they can. Next, the challenge with maintaining a demo environment is new features often require some type of data to be relevant. Let's think of a new report module that's released. Typically, reports are historical data, and we don't have any historical data because it was just released. So oftentimes, demoing these in an impactful way is hard or impossible because we don't have a way to feed that data. This rolls into our third challenge, where if you do have a way to seed the data or pre-populate, it's probably coming from R&D. Typically, R&D has to update the demo environment. However, they're prioritizing production over that account. So what happens, the impact of maybe not getting the attention the demo environment deserves, or as often as the demo environment needs to be updated, is it ends up feeling a lot like the Wild West. Now, I'm an SE. I know what my Wild West feels like. It's receiving a link from my SE who just gave a demo I want to give and using that instead of what I should use. It's copying demos and sending scripts. It's doing things in a very disorganized manner, and it can't be maintained over time. All of these challenges also have business impacts. Revenue leakage. You're not showing the latest and greatest on your sales call. You're missing that revenue. You're missing that value. Second, you're slowing down sales cycles if you can't show the latest and greatest. Maybe you're waiting to show it from the demo account, or you can't show it at all. And then finally, because we enter into this Wild West scenario where R&D is not maintaining the demo account or maintaining it pretty slowly, it means that your SEs are prioritizing maintaining over live calls. So you've all heard the phrase, if a tree falls in a forest and no one is around to hear it, does it make a sound? Same goes for product updates. If your sales team, your customer success team, your ST team is not demoing and showing the value of a new release, did it really happen? Now, I say this often at Demostack, as an SE at Demostack, as a rallying cry. See, our R&D team and product teams are very, very proud of the velocity that we can release new features. And we're very proud of the impacts they're going to have on our customers' business, on their success. However, if the field is not prepared to demo this new feature or explain the value properly of the new update, was it really worth the time and effort to build it? Now, of course, the answer is yes, or it should be yes, but we need to prepare ourselves. The demo is more than just getting the new feature in. It's also rolling it out. It's scaling it to your entire team and making sure the messaging is correct. So let's talk about how folks manage product updates today? And Barry's going to throw a quick poll on your screen here in the top right-hand corner to get a feel for the crowd. What are people doing today? Right, what we're seeing in the field is you can ignore the product update. For small things, this makes a lot of sense, and oftentimes you should ignore updates. Sometimes you should ignore updates. Think about the weeding analogy in my garden. Just because one weed or two weeds pop up in my garden does not mean that I should weed the garden at that very moment. I'm going to wait until enough weeds build up, until it's worth my time to make that adjustment. So in some cases, you might ignore it. In other cases, you might show a production environment because we know production is prioritized over demo accounts. Now, this could work. However, you risk revealing sensitive information about your current clients. And this can have severe monetary a cost associated to it if you reveal this information. So showing a production environment, it's a no-go. We shouldn't do it. Unless we can manipulate the data and really mask it and obfuscate it. In addition, why someone might show a production environment is you need real data. You need an idea of real data. And oftentimes that customer environment is more likely to have historical data that works with that new feature. Almost all the time, at some point in this process, you will update the demo account. However, know that this does take time from product and R&D. So let's see the answers to the polls. Looks like we have 11 votes. So no one says that they ignore the product update. I think that is untrue in the short term. There are likely times where you ignore it until something big happens, and then you're actually going to reveal it. All right, so we're seeing the scores here. It looks like 36% of you, 46% of you show production environment. That's interesting. I love in the chat. Why do you show it? Are you nervous about it? Should you be doing it? Ask yourself those questions. 31% of you says to update the demo environment. It's probably going to happen eventually. The question is how long? How long are we waiting for those updates? How long are we waiting to scale those updates to the rest of my team through a demo? And then 3 of you said it depends. I see a never from Brandon Cooper. I think that means never ignore a product update. All right. Here at Demostack, it's not just us who say this is what they do. So I'm glad you had the answers that we had up on the board. It's also our customers. So here on the left, a couple examples of how we've heard people manage product updates or the pain and challenges associated with those updates. Alana here on the left, I really like what she's saying here. She's really building up the pain of maintaining demo accounts, maintaining demo scripts. And although it's not about the product and updating the product exactly, the pain of managing the demo updates to script and the rollout is real. And it's time consuming and it's tedious. And don't you wish you had a system to manage this better? On the right-hand side is a blurb from an existing customer of ours. This is from a PM perspective. So the product manager was responsible for maintaining the demo environment in this case. What I thought was very interesting on the bolded line here, the salespeople were asking, when's the demo environment going to be updated to the latest feature? I want to show this in calls, and we can't. And that's the demo account causing a roadblock in the process. Also, the next line, this is from the PM still. The bug on the demo account is not prioritized over production. In fact, it's never prioritized over production, as it should be. So we have these competing priorities. Last example of one of our customers talking about what they did before Demostack and how they manage these updates. I'm going to pass.
Before Demostack, we were maintaining a demo environment that required significant support and hand-holding from product and R&D for every menial change that we needed to make. Everybody was frustrated, and we realized that we needed a change.
Thanks, Barry. So what have we learned? We've kind of all agreed that maintaining the environment's hard, production's prioritized across demo accounts, and we're going to manage different updates differently. And a lot of it depends on your product. And I see here, John, in the comments, again, it depends. It does depend. And so why are demos so hard? Why does this problem exist? Well, here at Demostack, we believe that products are just not built to be easy to demo, and they're not going to be. You see, product and R&D have their roadmap. They have their roadmap that's designed to create value for their clients, increase revenue, and secure the company itself. So the product roadmap is diametrically opposed to the demo roadmap. The product needs to work. The demo needs to show value. It needs to tell a story. So they are different needs. And essentially, I think they're different platforms that serve these different needs. So what do we do about it? How do we solve this problem? The product and the demo being different. How do we keep them aligned while also giving the best demo we can give? And we think we're going to do that with Demostack. We think there's no one single solution. There's no magic wand that can solve for every single product update or every single challenge. But we do believe that there's a tool, a suite of tools that can allow you to tailor the story to the situation, to tailor the asset to the product update. And so let's start talking about Demostack now. All right, a little intro to demos, how we think about demos. And this will be a theme a lot. First, you got to build it. So this involves updating the environment, finding the production environment, whatever it means to build your demo. But it doesn't stop there. That's half the problem, right? If we just build it and no one comes, it's like we didn't do it at all. Going back to the tree metaphor. So first, we got to build the demo. Then we've got to roll it out. We've got to enable folks. We got to tell them how to give it. If it's a new product update, what do I say? What do I click? What's the value of it? Why do I care? Why do our customers care? Then you need to deliver it. You need to scale this. Everyone needs access to that demo. And if you're prescribing like a first call demo script, they need access to the script and the demo in a way to give it the same demo every time. Finally, we want to measure it. And we're going to iterate and do it all over again. So if we think of this structure as a mini release for a demo, you've got to build it, you got to roll it out and train it. Everyone needs access, and then we're going to measure it. Demostack provides toolings at each stage to accomplish this. First, we start with our demo builder. This is a broad term for editing demos, whether that means embellishing data, adding more data, changing tokens or dates to make it more relevant, deep edits, blocking clicks, making it easy to demo. All this happens within our demo builder. Then all of this is stored, all these assets, these demos are stored in a demo library. Demostack provides a way for you to organize your assets, whether they're shareable assets or demos you actually give to clients, into a seamless experience. And it allows you to link to these demos in different places and really meet you where you are today. Next, within Demostack, we have a browser. This is called our desktop app. This is our version of a browser that really limits what you can present. So you have a clean presenter experience. You don't have distractions. You can really prescribe how your product is shown. We also allow for shareable assets, like a sandbox. Think of it as like a POC or a trial, where you send a link to a client and they're using a Demostack asset, not a real asset of yours. So it's disconnected from your release stream. And then finally, we have demo analytics. We want to know who's demoing to what client at what stage in the cycle, and we want to be able to tie that back in revenue. Do customers that see a demo first, do they become a customer faster? Are we seeing that increase? Or are we missing the mark? And so today, I'm going to set the scene for the demo. I'm going to be playing the role of two different people at a fictitious software company called RevPower. I'll be playing the role of a builder, a demo builder. This could be an SE, a PMM, a PM, whoever knows what to demo and how to demo. Then I'll play the role of a presenter. It could be an AE, a BDR, an SE, someone that gives demos to clients. And the story we have today is I work for a company called RevPower. I've been a customer of Demostack. I've already built up my first call asset that's relevant for the product we're selling. We've already enabled the sellers to present it, and we already have it stored in our asset management system so they can access it. However, Sunday, we released a brand new update to RevPower. And using Demostack, I'm going to show how we can create new assets to add to our demo scene. So let's take a look at what actually was added to this site called RevPower. So I'm on revpower.io right now. If you have the internet, feel free to go to the site. It is real. It exists. And what we're talking about today is this bottom section, this customer engagement sections. Prior to Sunday, this did not exist in any platform. On Sunday, they rolled out this new feature to one demo account. And I want to get this to the team as fast as possible without spending weeks on adding this small update. So that's the goal. So before, we only had this part, the general management and platform section. The new update includes the customer engagement section. So let me also show you how this is set up in Demostack today. So I'm jumping into Demostack for the first time. I'll go through a lot of the details in a bit. But first, I want to launch a previous demo. So the version of the demo that includes the top 3 sections and not the addition. So I'm going to launch a demo I gave this morning just to show you this presenter perspective before we add our updates. So in this presenter perspective, this is me pretending to give a demo before. I have my RevPower demo. I can see I've added some customization. If you saw on my real website, Jane Doe, Acme, random lady, not very personal. But in my demo, within Demostack, I've allowed this personalization over time. I can navigate through my site, jump into the different sections of my app, and overall navigate and give the demo as I'm supposed to. Now, also, my builder has added enablement throughout this demo. So I can also turn on these guides. You'll notice this turned on these little blue dots throughout my demo that help instruct me as a salesperson, is helping to enable me on what the story is, what to click and what to say. So I can navigate through and see, oh, our marketing's working. Visitors are clicking our link from LinkedIn. And I can see here as well, it's clear the most visits are coming from LinkedIn. So what you just saw, this example demo, is really made up of 3 separate parts. So the demo you just saw is really made up of 3 different demos. And that's the key to unlocking speed with keeping your demos fresh. So back to the deck, let's break this down. What I'm going to introduce to you today is a hub-spoke model, where the hub is your playbook, where a playbook at Demostack is just a group of assets. These can be any combination of Demostack assets, demos, and tours, plus external links like your slide deck or other web collateral. So think of the playbook is the hub. It's our go-to. Now, the spokes are the individual demos. So my demo for management, my demo for platform, those are my spokes. And so using this playbook model will allow me to add a spoke to my hub without changing everything else. Using the same model, if demo C needs to be updated, if module C needs to be updated, I can take that out and swap it back in without taking the whole thing down. Now, think back to our garden plot analogy, right? Gardens require different maintenance on different schedules. It might be true that my dates need to be fresh in every demo. That's kind of like weeding, something I do every month, every week, whatever that is. Where other parts of my demo don't need to be updated so frequently. Our overview part of RevPower never changes. It's perfect, but the rest of the sections have frequent updates. So whether your team decides to organize it by menu or by product line, there's a way to organize your demo environment to make your updates faster. So using this hub spoke model, our goal today is to swap in this new spoke. All right, so we know what we're going to do. We have 3 existing demos, one for demo module 1. That's my general tab. The second is for the management. The third is for my platforms. And the fourth we are adding today. So let's see this in action. So what you're going to see here from the builder perspective is I'm going to create a new demo for the customer engagement sections. You're going to see me add customizations and tokens that match the other 3 demos in my playbook. And then I'm going to add it to my playbook. So let's get started. I'm in Demostack now, and I'm in my sales workspace. A workspace are these boxes on the left. Think of it as ways to govern and secure your assets by grouping SEs, sales, type of call, vertical. The organization structure should match your org. In this case, we have a sales folder just designed for first call demos. And here I see my existing first call demo playbook. So I'm going to jump in to my asset folder and start to create a clone. Because remember, I need to add that new section into my playbook. And so all of this is going to start with a clone. Now, if you're new to Demostack, a clone in a nutshell is just a recording of your demo click path. By recording, I don't mean video and I don't mean screenshots. I mean a deep network level recording of how your app works and behaves. It's cloning simple. You add your URL, you sign in, you click the start cloning button when you're ready to go. From this point forward, we are recording and saving off all the requests and response pairs that happen as you navigate the app. So the JavaScript, the code that makes your app yours, it makes it move, it makes it dynamic. We're capturing that. The CSS, the styles, how it looks, how it feels, we're capturing that, as well as the API calls and the HTML that populates the data within. So as we're cloning takes as long as it takes you to demo. So I know my demo script. I'm going to come in here and just start cloning what I want to be replayed every time. A clone, when I replay it, will replay the same thing every single time. I'm going to jump into the Kanban board, quickly jump into mail. I'm going to open one of these emails, jump into chat, go into both of these chat options, finally end in my calendar, open that new event, and I'm done. That's all I want to clone. These features are pretty self-explanatory, so they don't require an in-depth demo, but it does require me to show something. So I'm going to stop my clone, give it a name. We're going to call this Customer Engagements Q2 of 2024. Now, once I create my clone, remember, not a screenshot, not screenshots, not a physical video recording, but a deep recording of the network level of your app. From that clone, I'm going to build my demo. The demo is where the fun happens. That's where I can edit, I can clean things up, and I can make it really simple to give a demo through Demostack. On my clone here, I'll quickly create a demo, and I'm launching our demo builder. So our demo builder, there'll be a whole new session on demoing in depth and editing in depth. But for now, I want to cover the basics and what I need to get this demo out the door so it fits in my existing playbook. The first thing I'm going to do is I need to import some edits from my other demos. I don't want to spend time creating new variables or new rules when I've already done it before. So I'm going to start by importing edits from an existing demo. I'll jump in here to my general demo, and I'm just going to import my variables in my find and replace. So this is going to allow me to take what I've already done in a previous demo, import them, and apply them to my new demo. So it's saving me time doing repetitive tasks. As soon as I click import, you'll notice the customer name across the top, the prospect name here, as well as the image, is all replaced with a variable. Josh made a funny joke. RevPower seems like a great tool. Where do I sign up to buy it? It's fictitious. It's what we use to demo Demostack, because demoing Demostack is double inception is what I call it. Awesome. All right. So first thing I did, I added my variables. This is really to make the demo make sense. So when I'm going through my different modules, my spokes, it is a seamless experience. Now I'm going to take some liberties in editing this environment as well. First, I want to make this really simple to present. It's an easy section. Everyone knows about mail, calendar, and chat, so there's not much to enable, but I do want to make sure we're not getting confused when I hand this out and scale this to my team. So I'm going to start to block clicks. Blocking interactions or block clicks is a really great way to make sure your reps are staying on track, that they're only talking about the areas that they should focus on. So by blocking clicks, you'll notice here, I can't click it. No matter how hard I click, I can't get back to the overview. because I'm preventing clicks like this. I didn't clone it. I won't see it in playback. So I'm really trying to prevent any oopsies. I'm making it really hard to mess up. So I'm going to continue with a couple more block clicks. I'm also going to jump into my chat and make some edits. I want to remove some of these sections. I just think it's too busy. I don't think it's relevant to our clients. So I'm going to hide some of these. I also know that in my other demos, I deleted this take a tour button. So I'm also going to remove that. Easy cleanup. The last thing I'm going to do is for enablement purposes. And I'm going to add guidance throughout this demo. This guidance can be turned off and on and is really used for enablement purposes and for shared experiences. So what does this mean? A new option in Demostack is the guidance manager, where I can point and click and add a tooltip to any item in any element within my demo. So in this case, I might say schedule webinar, move to in progress. So as someone seeing this demo for the first time, or really seeing this feature for the first time, I'm able to instruct them on what to do and where to go and why it matters. Perhaps on my mail, the important part about the mail function in this new RevPower update is the ability to integrate. So perhaps I add a tooltip, integration capabilities. We integrate with everything. So I'm adding tooltips. I'm adding enablement materials as I demo, because we know making the demo, releasing the demo is only part of it. Next is enabling the demo and scaling the demo. So by adding this guidance throughout, I'm able to accomplish all of that. All right, if I'm satisfied with my edits, which I am, I'm going to go ahead and click save, give it a description of updated for script, and save my changes. Last thing before I add this to my playbook, I'm also going to add a demo script, because I know that as much as I add guidance, I have users that also want to consume the information by reading. So on every demo asset, we have an option to add speaker notes. Speaker notes allow you to paste the script, nice to knows, good to knows, into the demo asset itself. These demo scripts are available for everyone who gives this demo. Excellent. My last step to finish my progress here is to update my playbook. So I currently just have my slide deck, my general demo, my management demo, and my platforms demo. And I'm simply going to update this with my new customer engagements demo. My work here as a builder is done. So what do we just see? First, you saw me import edits and really, really quickly customize my demo. I was able to add the edits from my previous version back into my new update without blinking. Really, it was half a second. Now, this works because the old demo and the new demo are the same environment. They have the same fields. Next, you saw me make the demo really easy to give by adding guidance to instruct people on where to click and what to say, and by blocking clicks, preventing users from going to areas in the demo I don't want them to go in. Finally, you saw how easy it was to update my existing playbook. Why does this matter? I didn't have to depend on R&D. Only one account was updated. I was able to clone that demo environment and slide it into my existing playbook. This allows me to have that control over who gets the update, how they get the update, and how they're instructed on how to give the demo of the update. It's not the Wild West anymore. There's a process for releasing these demo accounts, adding the notes, and making sure that not only did we update the demo, but people now know how to give the demo. The tree falls in the forest. All right, let's talk about the sales presenter demo. From the sales perspective, I'm going to be playing the role of an AE, an SDR, an SE, someone that needs to give the demo. We're going to see how I'm going to leverage the guidance that I've, as a builder, embedded within the demo to give it. And you're going to also see me give a demo and personalize that asset over my different modules within my hub-spoke model. But first, where do I get my demos? So not a poll, but I would love to for you to put it in the chat. Where do your AEs go to get their demos? Where do their SDRs go to get their demos? I would bet that if you're using Demostack, it can be Demostack. If you're not using Demostack, it's likely a Confluence, a Notion, a Seismic, a G Drive. There's somewhere people go to get the most up-to-date demos. So where do I get my demo within Demostack? Well, first, I could go to Demostack. I could go to my desktop app, navigate my workspaces and folders, and see my asset. However, we really want to meet users where they are and what they do today. So oftentimes, we'll see our customers embed a deep link into the system they already use, like a Confluence or a Notion or a Seismic. So for example, playing the role of an AE here at RevPower, we have a example demo library. Let me give this a zoom in because it's pretty tiny. So what you're seeing here is an example demo library. Where your users are, we want to meet them. So where your salespeople know to get the most up-to-date deck, to get the most up-to-date pricing, to get the most up-to-date customer stories, that's where you want to link your demo. So as a presenter, I simply need to click my demo, and I'm launching a presentation. So I've just launched my first call demo playbook from my Notion page. Now, as a user, let's pretend I'm presenting to a company called Re-Inc. One of my favorite soccer players actually owns this company. So I'm going to customize it to that person. Under my customized box as a presenter, I can add my notes to self. I can adjust my variables, add in my prospect name. I can add in their image and their company name. All of my notes that my builder put on the demo itself, I can see here, and I can also add to it if I want something specific in the specific demo I'm giving. And I can see in my last demo as well, I have the same variables across, so we're being very consistent. When it comes time to present it, I simply play now. And I'm going to open up my speaker panel here so I can give the demo appropriately. So for those who haven't used playbooks before, what you see is me clicking in the top right are presenter tooling. This opens a slider here, which you can see because I've made it available to you. But generally, when you're sharing your screen, your client has no idea that you're using a switcher here to toggle between your different assets. And in this way, I'm able to give this cohesive story. I'm able to toggle between my overview and then jump to my new demo, my customer's engagement demo, where it is very seamless. You can hardly tell that I'm switching tabs and accomplishing this. Last thing, as a new user, I might want to turn on my guides to practice before I give this to a real prospect or to a real client. In the top right, I can turn on my guidance, which are just edits that can be turned off and on. And I can use my guidance to navigate through the demo and to understand what's the important part about this demo. And because I've added it to all of my previous demos, I can use this as a guide and navigate throughout. All right, so we saw the one-click demo playbooks. What this really refers to is this one link. I did not have to update it after I adjusted the playbook. The link is static. So as long as I update the playbook, I don't need to redirect the demo link for my AEs to a different asset. It just lives here. Now, I'd likely want to come in here and update the date it was updated so folks know that it is current as of the 25th of June. All right, so what we just saw from the presenter perspective is how easy it is to show the most up-to-date demo. No more am I hunting for the right link or the right script to get the most up-to-date demo. It is the same one I always go to. Second, we saw how easy it was to personalize this demo. Adding in the name, the image, the company name was a very small effort on my part to see a big reward for the client, to see that personalized messaging. The benefits of this to AEs, silent demo updates. You don't need to know when the demo is updated. And like I said, your physical environment doesn't need to be updated, just your playbooks. Next, BOGO assets for enablement. Buy one, get one assets for enablement. Not only do you get the demo that you use to present, but that demo is also what you use to enable your sellers. So you get a 2-for-1. You're training them on the exact environment that you're asking them to use. One more thing before we go. I know I have a lot of SEs in the audience, especially SEs that I work with. And I know that SEs, we always need to flex, right? SE to SE, I'm always going to be asked a question. I probably got one this presentation to show something new, something I didn't plan, something I didn't clone. So more often than not, I will always recommend adding an overlay demo to a playbook. This is the pivot. This is the flex. This is that. I want to show something live right now. Click anywhere and do anything. So let's jump into what it means to add an overlay demo to your environment and if this could be a solution for you. My first demo here, I created from a clone. A clone-based demo, it's consistent. It's the same every time. I know what to expect. What I cloned is what I get. However, I'm going to create a demo based off the RevPower Live app. This has a few implications. First, I need to be able to log in. I need access. So if you don't have access or not everyone can log in, this is probably not the right solution for you. What I find is that SEs generally have access to their own environments. They have their own logins and they are getting the updates. So they would enjoy an overlay demo. So just like the clone-based demo, though, I can still edit this. This is a live application, so it's not a clone. I can go anywhere. I can do anything. There's no restrictions, but I can still use my edits from a previous demo in this overlay demo. So for example, I'm going to introduce my find and replace and my variables into my overlay demo. I'm not going to make a lot of edits because this is really my flex. This is my just in case. I'm going to call it my live app demo. And I always recommend, if you can, to add a live app demo into your playbook. This is for the questions you can't answer on the fly, the things you don't have cloned, the surprise use case that you're met with on the call. Now, when I give the demo on my live app, I can still add my same customizations, but I can go everywhere and do everything. Now, just like with every environment, there's pros and cons to this approach. Not everyone's going to have access. Not everyone's going to have logins. And it does depend on the stability of your live app. However, we find that SEs really like the pivot. They want to have the freedom to go everywhere and do everything, but still reap the rewards of being able to customize and personalize and add it to a hub-spoke model. All right, we're almost done with the demo portion, and then I'm going to jump into questions because it looks like we've had a lot of good conversation here. So what we just saw in the brief overlay, real-time updates can be leveraged in an overlay demo asset. If the update is in the live app, we can still show it in a playbook. The advantage is there's zero time between release and the demo. It is just your live app with edits overlaid on top of it to make the story more relevant, to make it match the rest. It also allows you to go anywhere and do anything. So those with the knowledge or the value that know how to give these types of demos should have the ability to do so. And we really see overlay utilized with SE teams more so than with an AE team or a BDR team. All right, so wrapping it up before I get to questions, what I hope you got from today is that controlling the demo environment and the narrative is really, really important. being able to have that control, not wait on R&D, not wait on product to fix things, is extremely important for moving fast. Second, no demo surprises from AEs. Typically, they're giving demos from cloned playbooks. So things are consistent in the same every time. There's no surprises. They can't get off track. And then finally, I really think this is more important than anything I've talked about today. It's the scaling to the entire team. It's this idea that anyone can have access to my demo library link. If I have access to Demostack, I can launch my next demo for my next call in one click. I can launch the same demo in the next hour from the same click and get the same experience with a slightly personalized demo. So with that,
Demostack creates independence for sales teams to control their demo environment without any code and without relying on other teams. If you're a sales leader, I strongly recommend giving Demostack a shot.
So that was Yoni from Gloat again. Yoni was wrapping up the before Demostack. They relied on R&D for so much. After Demostack, they were able to really take that control and make a demo release cycle that is congruent but slightly different than the product release cycle. Because as we know with our garden metaphor, different changes at different times, and different changes will require different amounts of effort and work. All right, I'm going to take a look at the questions here in the comments. I see Julian says demo environment's only on prod, which is interesting. That sounds more like the environment's on production rather than staging. John says it depends. Let's see, Peter. Get a little lost on best practices for what a clone should encompass. For a multi-screen product application, is it best to make a clone per screen or record all screens in one? Therefore, you'd only need to record a new clone the time the entire application. That's a great question, Peter. And that is exactly what the hub spoke model is trying to address. Now, the example with RevPower is very simplified, right? We're using the menu structure to instruct when we release new demos. However, I would say your application is likely unique. What I've seen is best practice here is do not create a clone of every per screen. That is, instead of having 5 spokes, you're going to have 100 spokes. So what is the logical difference between the different areas of your app? Sometimes it's by the menu structure or by the team behind the scenes that's updating those features, the R&D, the product teams. Other times I see it by value area. If I were to break up my demos by value area, I would swap in and swap out the new versions as needed. But there's always some smaller breakdown that you should consider. Not so small that now you have an unwieldy amount of small modules to deal with, but a medium-sized module where it makes sense where they're updated at the same time. Think about this idea of garden plots in seasons. How often does this section get updated? Should that be grouped together? From John, how much freedom does the presenter have besides playing the playbook? Oh, looks like I answered that. Demos and Confluence. Sam, can I consider the playbook a way advanced version of pre-recorded demos? Excellent questions. I'm going to pivot here and talk a little bit about multi-language or multi-product approaches. So what you've seen here is individual demos stacked together into a playbook. What I'd often recommend for different verticals or different languages is on the individual demo assets, doing the translations there. So multi-language demo, we have a few companies that do this. I would first start by duplicating the demo, calling it French, calling it Spanish. I'll have a Spanish version of my demo, and I'll use a variety of editor tooling to start to translate it. Oftentimes, there's something in your app by default that does the translation. So there's usually a deep edit we can do to make this even faster. From there, I would create localized playbooks. So I would create a new playbook called First Call Demo Spanish. And in each of those playbooks, I would add my associated languages. Whether those are updated in sync with the rest, I think that's another question to consider. Different approaches here. Any other questions in the chat?
Okay. Sam, thank you so much. This was amazing. I learned even some on this, so it's really interesting when someone that works at Demostack also gets to learn. So I'm sure if I learned a lot, then the people here also. Sam, what's the best way for someone to contact you if they have any specific follow-up questions on this or just want to learn about being an SE? I know that's something that you're also passionate about.
Yes. You can reach out to me at samantha@demostack.com.
Wonderful. And John, specifically on Europe, you can ask for a demo on our website and we can make sure that the right AE speaks to you, the person that's in charge of Europe. And if you're interested in speaking to an US rep, we'll make sure to route it accordingly. Anyways, thank you everyone for being here. We'll make sure that these recordings get to you in a timely fashion in the coming days. And again, reach out to Sam. She's great. She's the best. And I hope you learned as much as I did. Let me know. I'm at Barry at Demostack.com. Barry, if you're from the South. Let me know what webinars you would be interested in so we can make the best content that is interesting for you. So thanks again. Have a wonderful rest of the day and happy demoing.
Happy demoing.